Hey folks, welcome to Guitar Daily. It's Nick Granville. So here I am today with a new piece of kit. This is the FM3. Now you're probably wondering, why when I had the FM9 did I want to buy the FM3? Well, and I did buy it. I should say too that the awesome people at Independent Music did give me a discount, but I did pay for it. So I'll hit the sponsored button if you want to call it that, but really it was a discount. Yeah, so this is the FM9. What I found is because of my setup in the studio, I was having to take the FM9 and unplug it and then chuck it in my bag, go out to a gig and then come back and re-rig the whole thing. And sometimes I'd, if I had to leave it there overnight, so the setup was staying set up and then come back the next day, it was starting to be a nuisance. And I found that, like certain gigs, like theatre shows, for example, you don't bring your rig in and out. You leave your rig there and you don't change it. So how does that work with doing daily YouTube videos? And I thought, gee, I've got We Will Rock You later in the year. How am I going to get on? So I really needed two setups. So this is what I'll use on We Will Rock You. And I thought, what am I going to do these videos? Here, I still need a setup at home, right? But also, too, a lot of gigs, I don't necessarily need all of this. I can leave this at home set up. Rigged, ready to go. It's got the looper, which I use for these videos a lot of the time and stuff. Super handy for that. And I can just take this. I mean, look, I'm picking it up with one hand. This thing weighs nothing. So maybe 3 kilos. I can throw it in a backpack. A lot of gigs I don't really need all the power this does. Maybe I need a clean tone and a lead tone, and that's about it. Maybe a tremolo. Like a blues gig, for example. Might have a clean sound, a lead tone, and a trem, and that's it. If it's a jazz gig, I don't even need that. I just need a clean tone, right? This will be perfect. So jazz gigs, blues gigs, even, I had a Lady Killers gig recently in Napier where I took up this, carried it on the plane and what have you. And I mean, this is a 9 kilo beast. This is 3 kilos. So it's like less than half. I think it's something like that. Maybe it's 4 kilo. Whatever it is, about half the weight, if not less. And just the size of this, I chucked it in the overhead. It fitted perfectly fine in my Novation backpack. But I still found that I was like, man, that gig, all I really needed was clean and I think I played one solo all night on that gig because you had 3 killer singers. If you haven't seen the vlog about that, go and check it out. I'll show you that. Those girls can really sing. I mean, so my role there was really rhythm guitar. I think I played one solo. So I could have done it. I could have done it with this just as easy. So the thing is, I have found some limitations to this already. But they're minor ones, right? There's only 2 XLR outs. So today I was going to plug into my setup here to test it, and I went, there's only 2 XLR outputs. I hadn't even considered that. I'm not sure I'm crazy about these controls being here, where they could potentially, maybe not. Maybe not. But they sort of look like a place where they might get banged around a bit. So I'm going to get some kind of bag or something to put this in, and then inside a gig bag or whatever to carry it. But the way I've set it up with just 3 kind of tones. So, 6 scenes is how I'm going to run this thing. So clean is here, and then when I toggle that switch, it goes to the crunch sound. So my clean and my crunchy rhythm, so like AC/DC type thing. The clean is the vibrato lux, as I've talked about plenty of times. You'll know that's probably my favorite Fractal model. And then crunch, which I don't use that often, but sometimes I do need that rock rhythm guitar thing. And then on the second switch, I have my boost lead tone. So that's like the clean sound plus a blues driver in front of it type thing, something like that. Just for a slight bit of gain for a lead tone. A little bit of kick and volume, and that's about it. And then my third one, and on the toggle, so I toggle between the 2, I have the tremolo, harmonic tremolo. And then on this one, I had my lead tone, which is BB preamp, as I've talked about before, into the vibrato lux with delay. And then on the toggle, I went to a multi-delay, just so that I can have like some kind of creative things, like more colorful sounds. And then I hold this down to get to my tuner. So that all worked pretty good, right? Easy. And that's 6 sounds, 6 scenes, plus, changing pickups and all the other stuff I do. And then, so out of the outputs, I'm going to go to front of house and to me, whatever input. And then there's an output 2. I'll probably take that out and go out to, if there's a backline amp provided, I take bypass out before the cab block in the Fractal, and I come out there and go straight out there into a amplifier, into the return send of, say, a Hot Rod Deluxe or something like that. And that works really well. So that's what I'm going to do. That's what I did with the other one. It was handy to have 2 sets of XLRs because I'd have one for me and one for front of house. But I'd rather have the smaller, lighter weight for when that's needed. Yeah, so far, the only other difference I found is this doesn't have the, if you go into the dynamics module of the amps, it doesn't have the input dynamics where you can, I usually put that up about 2 dB, and what I find is that makes it feel a bit more like a, it increases the dynamic range, it makes it feel more like a real amp. That to me is a big one. I wish that was in here. It's not. Maybe it'll come in a further update. I know that future update. I know there is a new update that's in the beta testing at the moment, or beta testing, however you say that, which makes all the stuff gapless. So gapless amp switching, which is pretty freaking cool. Can't wait for that to come as a full firmware. I never do beta versions. I always just want to wait till the full version. I can't have stuff being potentially unreliable, just for what the nature of what I do, which is all professional work and usually, you know. But the other thing too is, if I have bigger gigs, you know, say like the orchestra stuff, I'll still take this, but this will come with me as well and be a backup. Because that's the other thing I found too, is like, I mean, it's great having all these sounds that I have in here and what have you, but I really need a backup. And I have been carrying this little Laney thing, and I can show you that at some point. I'm actually going to sell it. But that Laney thing, the thing with it I found is that it doesn't have the reverbs, the delays, all that kind of stuff. And I really want almost, I can get, you know, all the sounds that I program in here, I can get at least in this as well. So I wanted to have this, I need backup, I need contingency, just in case something were to go wrong with this. I mean, these things are bulletproof though. I've never had an issue with them. I mean, they're way more reliable than a tube amp or whatever. But doesn't stop someone, say some idiot that's a roadie or whatever, and going backing a truck over it or dropping a case on it. I've literally had that. There was a roadie guy who dropped one of the lighting bars. You know, could have killed someone, but it landed straight on my flight case and cracked. The lid was open because I was about to put the amp in it, and he cracked the whole top of it. And I was like, oh man, come on. You know, so imagine if something like that landed on top of your Fractal just before you're about to play the gig. So, and for the nature of the gigs I do, quite high profile stuff, I need backup. So that's why I went with this. I'll be using the EV2, which is what I've been using with my other one, which is just an expression pedal. It's a volume pedal as well, but I don't use it for that. Just use it as the expression. These seem to work the best with the Fractal stuff I've found. I've had a bunch of other expression pedals which don't track particularly right, or the pot's not, the taper's not exactly right. These are the best ones, and this is the smaller version. I think the smaller version's the way to go. There is the EV1, which is bigger, but this is plenty fine for my foot, so it just works. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. I just thought, I'd share that with you today, that the FM3 is the new part of the kit for doing a lot of live stuff. You'll probably hear it here. You heard it in that intro. And it'll be part of my regular equipment. Yeah, pretty cool. Oh, and I will do a video soon discussing which I think most people should get, because I think there's some valid reasons to get an FM9 and there's some valid reasons to get an FM3. Most people don't need both. I need redundancy because of the nature of the work I do, but most people don't need both. So I'll do a video discussing like which I think would suit, who should get an FM9, who should get an FM3. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you tomorrow. Cheers.